Pennsylvania, there are high hopes among Republicans that they can retake the House this November. New projection by Decision Desk HQ bears that out. Their forecast, Republicans have an 88% chance of retaking the House in the midterms. Democrats, though, cling to an edge in the Senate. It will come down to Georgia, Pennsylvania that we just talked about, and Nevada. Those states are toss-ups at this point. Scott Tranter, Decision Desk HQ head of data science, good friend, election guru, runs the Decision Desk and also helps us out here at News Nation, is with us now. How is it possible with President Biden at 31%, he's going to Pennsylvania? John Fetterman isn't even showing up for the rally because President Biden's so unpopular, and it's a toss-up.
Well, part of it is John Fetterman's that good of a candidate in Pennsylvania. He knows not to show up at a rally with the unpopular president, but also he's good at fundraising and he fits the state pretty well. So 54% is a toss-up. We're not giving him the race. We're just saying he's very competitive, and there's still over 100 days left before the election, and a lot of interesting things will and can happen.
Right. Just ask Donald Trump in 2016.
Exactly.
1 in 5 comes in sometimes more than 1 in 5, as you learn in Vegas. But all right. So latest poll in Pennsylvania, 50-44, Dr. Oz, John Fetterman. Is Oz as flawed of a candidate as he sometimes appears to be?
Well, he's got to make his case to the voters, especially some of the swing ones. Pennsylvania's had quite a bit of new voter registration on all parties, Republican, Democrat, but also on the independent. He's got a little bit more ground to make up in explaining himself to the voters, whereas Fetterman's been elected statewide already, so he's already got a base there. What I would say is the jury's out for Mehmet Oz. He's got a little bit of time to define himself, so we'll see where it goes, but his early gaffes are playing a role in some of his polling among the independents.
We talked about crime just now. How big of a role will that play?
I think that'll be huge, especially in these individual state races. And I know we're talking about the Senate here, which, doesn't necessarily have direct correlation with local crime and things like that. But you're seeing these candidates at the federal level talk about it. You're certainly seeing it at the congressional level and the gubernatorial level. That is going to be after inflation. That's going to be the topic, at least right now, and probably into the fall as we see more videos like you showed a few minutes ago.
Yeah, no, you think about those videos that you watch, and it is searing. Somebody who's in the suburbs watching that on their local news and hears and knows why it's happening and who's allowing those people out of jail, it influences voting. You think about Georgia, though. Again, Raphael Warnock outkicking Joe Biden's approval rating by multiple double digits. It's kind of stunning that Republicans in toss-up states are doing this poorly. Is there any other explanation other than really bad Republican candidates?
Well, I think it's a little early to say bad Republican candidates. That's certainly what the preliminary analysis is by pundits. Let's see what this looks like the second or third week in September when people start paying attention and we have a lot more polling under our belt. Right now, everyone's thinking about, can they afford that summer vacation? What's going on at work? What's going on with their home value? They're not really focusing on this stuff until after Labor Day.
All right. Polling issues from the New York Times. Inflation, economy, number 1, 35%, gun policies, 10%, abortion, 5%, climate change as your number 1 issue. At what point does a decrease in gas prices, does a little bit better economic news not really matter because how people feel is already baked in?
Yeah, that's certainly how they feel. I mean, gas prices going down certainly helps. It helps the headlines. That's not what we're talking about anymore. But really, it's does that hotel you want to go to or that trip you want to go on or, does that meal you're buying? Those are the prices that really need to come down in conjunction with the gas prices to get everyone feel better. And, we've seen the stock market over the last couple of weeks go up and down and up again. I think this economy needs a few months of consistent good news, not just 1 week here or there before people are going to start feeling it and we're going to see it in the polls.
Yeah, you could ask one-term President George H.W. Bush about that because things got better going into November of '92, but America's feeling about the economy had already been baked in. The one state that you guys don't have listed as a toss-up is Ohio. Is J.D. Vance really that safe?
Formidable? Well, 77%, that's what we have, so 3 and 4. It's not
I just want to stop you for 1 second. Formidable was the word I was looking for. I appreciate the data guy who comes up with the thesaurus, but when you say you have it at 77%, that doesn't mean he's polling at 77%, right?
That means that if we were to look at that race 100 times, he wins 77 out of 100 times. 33 times he loses. So that's some pretty good odds. That is not his polling average, as you identified.
Scott, I hate to correct the math. I think you meant 23 times.
I'm sorry, 23 times. It's a little late here. I'm on my 12th soda. There we go.
If we're talking here, okay, after Election Day, and it turns out that J.D. Vance loses, okay, so Warnock wins in Georgia, Fetterman wins in Pennsylvania, Catherine Cortez Masto wins in Nevada, and J.D. Vance loses in Ohio. Democrats pick up seats. That happened because why?
That happened because of what we said a couple minutes ago. These candidates, they looked flawed early on, and they stayed flawed for the next 100 days. And they stay flawed because they said dumb things on the trail. They didn't raise the money, and they didn't do what they needed to do in voter registration and voter turnout. Because where the generic ballot is, the voters want to vote for a Republican candidate. That's what the generic nationwide ballot tells us, is they want to vote for a Republican candidate. And if these candidates can't turn out the vote and can't turn that into something in the ballot box this November, it's their fault, not anyone else's.
President Biden's approval rating 31% now, a historic low for Quinnipiac. For him and for any president at this time in their presidency. Are we at the point where it sort of doesn't matter how much worse President Biden's approval number gets based on what you just said?
That's an excellent question. And I think that's something we're debating amongst ourselves over here. I mean, we're looking at levels of where President Trump was when people said it's never been this low before. This is lower than Obama was in his first term. You'd like to think it doesn't matter, but eventually, you lose some of your core voters based on that. If we get into the mid to low 30s, there are some diehard Democrats who are no longer positive on him. I think if it goes lower, it could certainly hurt him more. We just haven't been in this territory before.
Yeah, it's hard to model once you haven't been there. And also, it's hard to model whether people actually flip or whether they'll simply stay home. Something I know you and the data guys are working on. Scott, always good to see you. Thanks for staying up late with us.
Thanks for catching me on the map.
Yeah. Well, got to catch your victories where you can. It's good to see you.
Thanks.
All right.